Hi, I'm John. Welcome to the podcast. Oh, I had to rewind a little bit. All right, I think we're good to go. Let's see.
John's first attempt, take one.
Holy cow, that's terrible. Oh my god. All right, let me turn that down. We'll let that play in the background. Oh my god, you don't know what that is, do you? That is me listening for the first time in 25 years to one of, if not the very first thing I ever recorded on a crappy little 4-track thing I got at a thrift store for $8 with my little acoustic guitar with a pickup. So you're hearing it with me for the first time in 25 years, and you've never heard it. This was a weird time. I was relatively fresh out of treatment and a sober living situation and changing my life 180 degrees to try to do something different than I had been doing with my directionless, drunken, stoned, out of control personage. And it worked. I got my ass straightened out. But somewhere in the process of going through all the turmoil that entails, recovery, and just that, it's just, at some point you got to grow up. When I did all that, I was 31 years old. 31 years old with not much to show for anything. I mean, I was a fuck up, plain and simple. But at some point there, my grandmother passed away. And in her will, she had the kindness and foresight in her heart to leave me $1,500. Wasn't a lot. Okay, let's stop that tape. It wasn't a lot, but I used it to buy a acoustic guitar with a pickup and an amplifier, so that I could learn to fuck around on guitar, which is something I had wanted to do my whole life, but I'm not very good at doing stuff like that. I've always been the kind of person that if I can't get good at something in a hurry, I generally get discouraged and quit. And I had done that with piano lessons and guitar lessons and yeah, a lot of stuff. It was just, I don't know what it is about my personality, but I don't like sucking at things, so I guess I just don't try a lot of stuff because I don't want to suck at it, but everybody sucks at first. I don't know. I'm a little older, possibly a little wiser now, but I got that guitar and that amp, and I got a little 4-track thing, and I was living with my friend John, Coffee John, over in North Minneapolis. He owned a house over there. He had fixed it up. It was a real nice little place. And we were old college friends. Moved in with him, and in his living room he had a couple of these old organs. Now, not a church organ. They were the organ that you would have in your house in maybe the 50s or 60s, that the ladies would play in the parlor, or they'd play at parties. Or, I guess, I don't know. I wasn't there. I was born in 62. But they had the built-in rhythm. And then the button, they would play the bossa nova, or you could play the waltz, or you could play the samba, or all this different stuff. And so I utilized that and started recording with that playing and playing guitar and another person and doing all kinds of weird stuff. But I started having fun with it, and then Mike became interested. My best friend Mike was he was an old drinking buddy who had disappeared, and then when I showed up at a meeting, he was there. Had been there for a long time. And we became really good friends again, and he found out that I was messing around with this stuff, and he wanted to mess around. He had a guitar, and he wanted to try to figure out how to play some music together. So we got together and started fucking around. The thing I'm going to play for you next, here we go, is Mike and I fucking around. It says Mike and John, Swampy Blues.
Mike singing some Seals and Crofts.
Seals and Crofts.
Makes me feel warm, knowing I could trouble Summer breeze makes me feel warm, blowing like a tower in my mouth.
Did you hear that? I had no idea that was there. I mean, none. I had no idea. So that's kind of a fun little thing. Mike's going to laugh. Seals and Crofts. Oh, my God. All right. I'm going to start this again. Okay, now we're starting the Swampy Blues thing. Let me turn this down. I can't decide whether that's really ambitious because I think we were pushing it. This is like the limit of our ability, and we're not playing together at all. Not even a little bit. Oh my God, that's so horrible. Oh man. Wow. Well, it's trying to come together. I know it's trying so hard. Oh, Mike fell off there. So this is just me strumming. Now you gotta realize that this is as good as it got for me then. I mean, this was the peak of my guitar playing ability right here. Do you hear that warped tape? Oh my God, that's awesome. All right. I'm just going to let that play in the background, and we're going to go on a little bit. So, Mike started coming around. We started making this stuff. And Mike's brother Dave came by, and he and I made a couple things. Dave and I didn't click like Mike and I did. Dave's an awesome dude. All right, let's hit stop there, because that's a good pause. Good point to break that. Now, we had another guy stop by, a guy named Randy, and we'll get to Randy. Randy plays big in the story. One, he was the original bass player who couldn't hack it and bailed. And then he was also the guy that hosted the Halloween party where we had our one and only infamous gig. Not going to get into the gig right now, but the gig was special. I mean, it was special. So, yeah, Dave came and went, and Randy came and went, and then we hooked up with Matt. And Matt, I won't get into sharing the personal stories of anybody but myself. I would expect if this podcast takes off and gets some people to listen, that Mike and Matt and Randy and Dave and whoever else was around will want to give their little take on what exactly was going on and what they experienced with this stuff. Now, Matt came on board, and Matt, we were so lucky. I don't know what the fuck Matt was doing hanging out with us musically, because Matt could play the bass. Matt can play the bass. Matt always will be able to play the bass. He plays by ear. He plays well, and he has boundless energy, you know. Matt is an amazing guy. So we started playing with Matt, and all of a sudden we had a bass player, man. We had a mother-fucking bass player. And it made such a huge difference, right? And so I got some of that stuff too, but we're not there yet, you know. The next thing that was up was, I think Dave came by. Let's see what we got here. And I hit the tape. Some more hiss, of course. This says John and Dave, the 70s cop show theme. No idea. Maybe
record over it? I thought we were going to listen to it.
Oh, maybe we're going to hear some more of the Swampy Blues first. There might have been more than one version. Sounds like I recorded over something and made my mic mad.
Okay, so we're going to go G, C, D. Swampy Whiskey and the Blues Groove type thing. Take uno.
Let's see how this one goes. This is in mono, so let's turn it down a little bit. Mono on the right channel, so we'll put me over on the left channel a little bit. We'll keep me center. So here we are, me and Mike. Actually, this is the bluesy thing. I don't know. These tapes are so poorly labeled. Who knows? But I think this is our version of the Swampy Blues. All right, now. There's not much there. I'll admit there's not much to work with. But for the two of us at this time to be sitting and strumming guitars together and recording it made us so happy. Even though we sucked so bad. I mean, these are not musicians yet or anything like that. These are, who knows, but for some reason I recorded it and I kept it and you're getting to hear it. This is the beginning of a very long, a very detailed, and hopefully a very entertaining series of podcasts. This is podcast number 1. My name is John, and we're
With a swampy sound.
listening to one of the very first recorded tapes I ever made. I don't know. I need to give you the frame of reference here as to where we started so that down the road, after you've stuck with me through whatever, 100 episodes of this, you'll be like, oh, they actually got to this point. Not that I can tell you where that point is, but we're going to get there. So let's talk a little bit more about why I find the need to share this shitty music with you. It wasn't too long ago, maybe last year this time, I was talking with Mike and we were talking about the old music stuff we did and how much fun we had. Mike had some tapes and I didn't have any tapes, at least I didn't think I did. And Mike had like 10 tapes, 10 cassette tapes of stuff from different sessions that we did. Each tape was like one whole session, or a side of a tape was a session where we just hit the drum machine going and we just played and we changed rhythms, changed beats, and just made noise in such a way as to at some point come together and be less noise and more music. It was all random, it was all unplanned, it was all unwritten. There was no songwriting, there was no lyric writing, there was no, nothing like that. All right. Matt played bass. We had a great drum machine that could keep a beat going forever. I played keyboards while recording everything live, dumping it to cassette, and then Mike, beyond playing guitar and getting to be a good guitar player later on, Mike told stories. He made up stories off the top of his head. Where that ability came from and his ability, he did some amazing work crafting these stories within our music to create these pieces of whatever we made. It's hard to explain. The dude did whatever he was thinking about or going through, it just kind of came out in these weirdly abstract song story things, and we got them all. And so Mike had 10 of these tapes, and we finally I got a shitty, I'm looking at it right here, a shitty boombox, $29 small piece of crap boombox from Walmart with a cassette player on the front. It's the wonderful Insignia brand, which I believe is Walmart brand or something like that. Or maybe we got it at Best Buy. I don't know. Something like that. Maybe Best Buy. Whatever. The thing's already crapping out on me. All right, let's stop that. All right, we're going to stop that for a bit because I'm going to talk a little. I started playing those cassettes. Mike came up. We spent a weekend getting nice and stoned and listening to these tapes and laughing and just going over all the old times and talking about how we should have been rock stars and just bullshit. but having fun and listening to something we made. And out of those 10 tapes, I cut out like 50 or 60 songs that were all pieces in and of themselves. And I started digitizing them, and now I've got them all on my computer, and I can listen to them in my car, and it's super cool. And that was awesome. And when we did that, I was like, man, this is really cool. There's something here as far as a narrative, as far as an interesting tale to be told. But we didn't have the entire picture. I knew there were more tapes. I didn't know where there were more tapes. I knew there was a bunch more tapes. And 2 days ago, I just started thinking of if there was any place they could be, where could they be? And I was like, they have to be in the storeroom. They have to be in a box in the bottom somewhere because they haven't been moved in so long. I've lived here for, 20 years, and nothing has moved in. So it had to be buried in there somewhere, if they still existed. And I got in the bottom shelf under the back, in the back box, and opened that box, and inside that box there was more boxes, and there was mouse shit, and there was old fallen fiberglass insulation, and there was dog piss and neglect. But in that box there was 2 U.S. Postal Service priority mailboxes from about 1998. And there was a stack of loose tapes and cases, and even some of the tapes had tape stringed out of them that had come unspooled, and I had to reel them back in there with a pencil. If you know cassette tapes, you remember that trick. And fuck, I found the fucking tapes. I found all the fucking tapes. I found 27 more thoroughly unqualified and Snout tapes. I found another 10 or 12 tapes that are just marked 4-track weirdness, or John's first attempt, or just all this. I found it all, and I texted Mike, and I was like, dude, biggest news. I got big big news. You got to get a hold of me. And he thought there was something emergency going on or something, but I told him I found all the tapes, and that was even bigger news to him. He knows what that means to us, how fun that's going to be. I mean, you consider that I got 60 tracks out of those 10 tapes, and I've got another 27 tapes. So I'm saying at a guess, when I start digitizing, going through this stuff and grabbing what I can, and I guarantee that a bunch of the early stuff I won't even grab because it's unlistenable, but I'll grab enough to be able to play for you guys and to tell the story. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's probably inappropriate and offensive and gonna be left out. Maybe we'll make a Patreon of some sort, and people can listen to the dirty lyrics. I don't know, but we've got so much, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you, as it moves on, the stuff gets funny, the stuff gets clever, the stuff gets more and more well played, more and more well produced, more and more sounding like a band as we go on. And I think by the time you get to the end of this, you're going to be like, holy shit. Those guys who started with what I'm playing you today, this absolute nothing attempt at music, they made something. And that's the story I'm going to tell. Let's try one more song here or something, just to see where we're at. This is all right channel again. And this must be some more swampy blues. That's awful. Hold on. let's just, and this is the thing that sucks about cassette tapes, is fast forwarding, rewinding, fast forwarding, rewinding. I want to find something else. Ooh. All right, so this is next. This is just me, and you can hear the weird rhythm from the organ with that cheap, cheesy sound. And the tape sounds warped. Oh my God, that's awful. Alright, let's stop that. Let's fast forward a little bit. Because, that could go on for 10 minutes. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, here's something different. A little different rhythm. This is in stereo. Okay. This would be Dave and myself doing this thing called 70s Cop Show theme. So, that's painful. We've got the rhythm going. We've got the rhythm guitar going. We've got Dave on lead guitar screaming. So, yeah, this is our 70s Cop Show theme music. Woo! I can lay it down, boys. Lay it down. Oh, my God. I have not heard this in 25 years, and I can't tell you how weird it is to think that this was me sitting in the living room with that old organ playing. Oh my God, taking me back. And what I'm going to hope to do here, I don't want to listen, and I've listened to a lot of this now, but I don't want to listen to all this stuff much before I do the podcast. I want to experience it with you. I don't know how long you're willing to sit and listen to this kind of thing, but oh my God. Hopefully I can pull out enough entertaining stories and talk to enough people, play enough interesting stuff, and who knows what to keep you listening, because this could be fun. And for me, it's just having a conversation kind of by myself, which I've been doing pretty much my entire life, so it shouldn't be that hard. It's just the technology part that's a pain in the ass for me. But I tell you what, I figured out how to record music. And this podcast is about evolution. The evolution of a band who's named after the Snout, which is a story about the evolution of the first creature to crawl out of the water and onto the land. And so I'm assuming then that this podcast will have to evolve technologically as I move forward, because I just hit a button and started recording today. Now I have a little mixer and a tape player and a microphone and Audacity, and I'm able to record this, but I'm assuming that down the road I'm going to make something much better that sounds better. I'll know my levels better and where to play things at. But I think for today, I'm going to wrap this up. This is going to be episode number 1 of The Snout. We were a band. My name's John Dundas, and I hope you'll tune in next time. And I'm going to let the 70s cop show theme music by myself and Dave play out for you.